Hey, girl.
Hello.
How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, honey. I'm good. And hello, Divas and friends. How are you guys doing? Welcome to another installment of In the Divas Den. Super excited about all the topics that we have tonight. Of course, we're going to be talking about the million MAGA march that happened.
That thing.
We'll be getting into that. We'll also be talking about COVID and the recent spikes that are happening all across the United States right now, and discussion of the vaccine. Some horrible news coming out of ATL of a young woman who was attacked while on a date. Erica Campbell, she's facing some backlash. People's sexiest man, and of course, we have our interview tonight with Lazarius Ken Walker. So much to get to, but before we get into all of that, we have to do our check-in. So, precious girl, how are you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling great. I know my background keeps changing these days, even during these COVID times. But soon, very soon, I will have a very special one for all of you to see. So, yes. But all together, things are going well. It could be worse. It's the holiday season's coming, and trying to figure out, is it safe to go home? Should I not? Should I just stay home and just Zoom people as I eat dry turkey on the screen? I don't know. Yeah. How are you? How are you feeling? I don't know.
Girl, I'm doing good. It was a tough week, honey. It was a tough week. Just a lot of emotions that were happening, and just just the reality of COVID, and like you said, the holidays coming up, and not being able to spend them with your loved ones like you would like to, responsibly, because some people are not being responsible, but not being able to, have that human interaction like we would like to, that big family unit, the Friendsgiving, all the stuff like that, essentially being canceled just because we just want to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe. So it was a lot of emotions, but other than that, it's a good week. One thing I can say is that I'm blessed to say that, my family, knock on wood, no one has caught COVID. I'm not looking at, or hearing anybody in the hospital or anything like that. My mom is doing well. Her numbers are doing well. So I'm really blessed about that. And girl, we here.
Yes, we are here. Some people ain't make it this long, but we still here.
That part. But of course, we definitely want to hear from you guys. How are you all doing? Check in with us. Let us know how you feeling. How's your mental? How are you really? Because it's tough. 2020 has been kicking our asses left and right, honey, and we are trying to get through it and hope that there is better on the other side. Let's hope. But let's get into this million MAGA march. Recently in the headlines, baby. Did y'all see this?
Man, Trump and his delusions and his deluded fans and fandom, whatever you want to call it, just why? I mean, besides not being able to march on beat with the left or right, just the simple fact of you think, I'm sorry. Look at that. What is that? What's happening?
And it was comical because, there were text messages going out, saying like, hey guys, stay in the house. There's this big rally that's being planned, that there may be some involvement from the KKK. Anyone of the LGBTQA community, anyone who is Black, staying indoors because we don't know what's going to happen. Then you hear that they're planning this million MAGA march, whatever they want to call it, because they believe that, there was some tampering, that the votes weren't valid. I mean, the ballots weren't, valid, and all of this craziness. And then you're looking at it unfold on social media. You're just like, what the hell? Y'all have nothing to do.
They don't know facts. They don't understand that facts are real things. You know what I mean? Like the Republican election official said that if Trump would have had 10,000 extra votes in Georgia if he didn't suppress his own voters. You did it to yourself. Exactly. And it was an excuse for the KKK to march, which caused businesses to close early
Exactly.
I didn't know someone whose daughter actually had to leave work at 4 p.m. while it was still light because they were afraid for her safety.
Exactly. Yeah. And when I see the interviews, and I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to actually hear what some of his supporters were saying, but you're just really sitting here thinking, like, is this where we are right now? Is this really what we're experiencing? As a matter of fact, I think we have a quick clip. Kayla, can you roll that for us?
With voter fraud, now I see on the media them discussing there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud. It takes one vote. If there's one vote that is fraudulent, that's enough for me. This isn't a research project. I'm not looking for statistically significant stuff. I'm looking for one evidence of voter fraud.
Once the evidence comes out, it's going to turn around and go his way. Because he's going to be president-elect 2020.
Do so many things wrong.
I'm going to just sip my tea, honey.
I'm sorry. There was...
What are we talking about? What evidence? When the evidence comes out, what evidence are we waiting for? You mean the people who actually took the time to mail in their ballots? Is that what you're talking about?
Right.
Can someone please, and I still say this again, just like I said on our show, a couple weeks ago, please give me some sort of explanation of what the hell you guys are actually talking about. What evidence is it that you're looking for? What tampering do you think is happening? Like, if you're not sitting down and paying attention to what has happened, these are mail-in votes that are being sent in. And the reason why it's taken so long is because of your president.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the reason why. And you really thought that he was going to win, but guess what? He didn't. So
right.
Get over it. The fact that, like, they're out there, you're not wearing any mask. You're on top of each other. You're spewing, you're spitting, you're yelling. And
listening to country music. Where you get trap country music from, I don't know. But yeah.
What? Stop. Just stop. Just stop. You lost. Just like we had to get over it in 2016. I need you guys to get over it. It's time to
had to deal with the foolishness. Since even before he got since 2008, had to deal with the foolishness. And he's not my president. When he rightfully won and his opponent gracefully conceded. Gracefully and said, don't act like that. You need to support him because he is a good man and he is a good man for this country. And they didn't even listen. But yeah, all of a sudden, oh no, you need to respect, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here.
Exactly. It's bad when our forever first lady, because I don't know who the first lady is now. I don't acknowledge her. Sorry to that woman. It's bad when our forever first lady is going on her social media and her social platforms and saying, like, hey, this is what we need you to do. It was hard for us. We had worked so hard in the White House, but, we were ready to go ahead and concede. We got everything ready. We met with their teams. I met with that woman and told her, everything that she needed to do and how to protect her children. It was done with so much class because guess what? It's over. As much as it hurt us, we had to admit the party is over. The fat lady done sung. She's out here giving her best. Done. And you got to move on, So what I need Agent Orange to do, I need you to stop being a sorry loser. And I need you to come up off of Twitter because come January, that's going to be deactivated real quick. I need you to come up off of Twitter, stop spewing these lies, grow up, and just say, you know what? It's time for us to move on. It was a good run. He may say he's proud of his achievements for whatever they were, but whatever it is that you need to say, get it off your heart and move on. Get out of there so we can go ahead and bless the White House with some oils. Bring some, sage in there, get every single pastor who is actually worth something to come up in there, bless it, and get prepared for this next stage. Because what we're not going to do is sit here and waste time when we have thousands of people dying at your hands and at your negligence and at your ignorance. That's what we're not going to keep doing. Because while we have Joe Biden, who is, essentially forming his team to try to fight against COVID while y'all were sitting here playing around with each other's buttholes or whatever it is that y'all were doing, because you definitely weren't trying to, do anything for the American people. You're in the way. Move. Okay. Yeah. This whole MAGA Million March or Million MAGA March, whatever you want to call it, that actually only ended up being about 300 people or so. It was so unnecessary. We do not have time for this. And I'm tired of them trying to equate why we march and why we protest with your trivial, ridiculous, childish antics.
Yeah, shout out to the DC Police Department, which was nowhere to be found during this whole entire thing.
Girl.
This whole ordeal, even when the woman was smacked up against the head with a motorcycle helmet, fell cold out. Where was the police department? Nowhere to be found. So, yeah. Talk about fair treatment.
Girl, but
the danger in this, though, a lot of people, it's all fun and games until you realize the danger in this, the possibility that it could cause something really monumentally bad for this country and democracy in this country. Because I was watching Van Jones and he was talking about how the president sets the tone for the people that supported him. So if he comes out and gracefully concedes, or at least says that he concedes, the people that supported him realize, okay, it's finally over. We need to leave this alone. But when you have someone who is a crazy person in the White House essentially saying this is this and this and that, this is where all these suspicions come in. Right. And these marches, and they keep growing and growing and growing because he's not saying to stop. So it's going to continue until something happens. So I don't need purge 1, 2, or 3 to happen because no, we're not ready for that.
Exactly. And what we also might not be ready for is the fact that we may be looking at another shutdown. You guys have seen it. You're seeing the numbers. I think right now we're at 250,000 deaths across the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the cases are continuously spiking. And what didn't help was something like what happened this past weekend, where you're seeing people marching out in the streets with no mask, not protecting themselves, not protecting others, because what you'll do is you'll go out and you will participate in something like this. Then you will show up to work next day and possibly expose people, or even your family, who may expose others. This is not a laughing matter, because we continuously see our nurses who are out here battling with this day in and day out, who are literally telling us, we are tired. We're tired of seeing people die. We're tired of seeing people die alone. We're tired of battling this. We're tired of not being able to see our families because people want to be irresponsible, because they want to, take a moment to go out and party with friends. But then when you're sick, when you start experiencing these symptoms, what are you doing? You're running straight to the hospital and you're exacerbating the issue, So I do feel really extremely bad for these nurses, because I know they're tired. I know they are. And some of the stories that we're hearing, I mean, you guys have seen it here, where we actually had a nurse onto the show where she was giving us firsthand what was going on with her. But there actually was a nurse who was tweeting out, she went viral, and essentially letting everyone know, there was a Trump supporter, and not just targeting them, because there are people, who aren't Trump supporters who still don't believe that COVID is a real thing. But essentially she's saying that this man was screaming at the top of his lungs that the virus isn't real, that the ones who scream at you for magic medicine and, Joe Biden's going to ruin the USA, all while he's gasping for air and essentially on a ventilator, and telling her, the person who's dealing with it day in and day out, that COVID isn't real. And this is a problem, because there are a lot of people out here who do feel this way. And if that's the case, then why are there people dying? Why are there so many cases across the US? And why are we having to go through wearing a mask? What do you think this is?
It's not an illusion. It's real. Okay?
Exactly.
Moving over and over and over and over again. And I can't imagine what it means to be a nurse or a doctor living through this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw one on Twitter. She talked about how she literally saw a young person die, and there was nothing she could do. And then she went out just to grab something, and she sees everybody without their masks on, just partying like it's a regular Friday night. And it's like, how disrespectful are you to all of these dead people, 250,000 dead people only in this country, but even the people all over the world who have died from this disease? How disrespectful are you? Exactly. To just think, oh, it's not happening to me directly, or it hasn't happened to anyone in my circle directly, so it's not real.
It's not real. And that's exactly the thinking that gets people in trouble, where because it's not happening to you, it's not a problem. I mean, we know firsthand, being Black females in America, that when we talk to certain folks that, oh, well, because they don't experience it, they have no reason to relate. But this disease isn't discriminating against anyone. It's taking young, old, fluffy, not fluffy, I mean, it's taking white, Black, it's taking anyone. We haven't really nailed down the specifics just yet, so we're doing all that we can to try to prevent it, but we are looking at a possible shutdown. And I mean, now they're saying that there is a possible vaccine that is 95% effective. But my question to you, Precious, and to you guys that are watching, would you take the risk and actually go ahead and take this vaccine to not have to wear a mask or protect yourself from COVID?
Girl, what's that mean? We'd be like, oh no. I don't know. I have to see some things first. I told you that I Am Legend. Ain't that's how I Am Legend started. Did y'all watch? That's how every apocalyptic zombie movie starts, with some kind of vaccine made by some kind of company that they claim is going to cure everybody, and all of a sudden everybody walk around like this. I ain't got time for that. Okay.
How they walking around, girl?
I better hear them trumpets. Do. Call me up, because I'm not. No.
No, Monte, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I'm not taking it. I refuse, because this is a whole rush process to where we're trying to figure it out as we go. But what you're not doing, my mom, same thing. What you're not doing is you're not telling us what the possible side effects may be.
Right.
So I sit here and take this. Yeah, it's fighting against COVID, but now I'm growing another limb. Or, now I have heart failure, or now, I have an ulcer or an aneurysm or something, Or
dystonia, like the woman we saw last week who couldn't walk straight, and she stopped. The only way she could walk is if she ran or walked backwards, but she can't walk straight because of the flu vaccine. See?
We're not doing that.
My mama said, no way. Yes, ma'am.
No. We're not doing that. I will wait. I would rather go ahead and wear a mask if need be, because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be anybody's test subject. Nope. Just an effort to hurry up.
We've already been test subjects. How about you take all them cells you took from Henrietta Lacks and see, what, be quiet. Didn't you take all that to see if she could cure the world? And then you find out that she could? Where they at?
But let's move on onto something that is extremely serious. I don't know if you guys heard about the stories coming out of Atlanta, where a woman who decided to go on a date ended up being brutally attacked. And thank God for, the security guard who happened to be around that saved her life, because this was something that could have ended up tragic, extremely tragic, where she would no longer be here. It was a first date. She had met a guy on a popular app called Hinge. I know that, people are going on these apps to meet people, especially during these COVID times. Went on a date with this guy. They went to a lounge. He was driving that night. Next thing you know, he decides to attack her out of nowhere in the car, brutally beat her, repeatedly hit her, and ended up trying to drive her somewhere. I think it was a stranded strip mall or something like that, where he tried to drag her to a certain area. And thank goodness for the security guard who happened to witness what was happening, because there's no telling what would have happened to this girl. He ended up pulling out a gun on her. And she was just so frightened that what has happened that I don't even really think that she had a chance to grasp how she was in danger. The guy, unfortunately, is still at large. They have not found him. They did identify him, but we're not exactly sure, where he is as of right now. But what I need people to realize is this, not right now. We got too much going on, okay?
Right.
There's too much going on for you to be irresponsible. And to me, when it comes to dating, first of all, you always need to tell somebody where you're going to be at. You need to let somebody know who this person is, show them a picture of them, where you met them at. And then women, never, ever, 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 ever get in the same car with a man that you do not know. You are giving him full control to take you wherever it is that he wants you to go. Okay. and protect yourself. I don't care if it's mace. I don't care if it's a blade. I mean, a lot of women are out here getting their gun permits. Do whatever it is that you need to protect yourself. But then also, we're dealing with COVID. We're dealing with racial tensions. I know you're lonely. I know that it's, cuffing season. I know people want to cuddle buddy, but we don't have time for that right now. So, girl, sit down. Sit down.
Yeah, like how you out here trying to get killed during the pandemic? Like, if you don't wear one of these, it's a possibility you may not be here. Okay. So if this is a risk factor, this is the only thing saving you from something being really wrong. Why would you go out and do this to yourself? Like, why?
And I mean, not to excuse what he did, because what he did was completely vile, completely disgusting.
Yeah, it was. It was.
There was no excuse for what he did, but you just have to be smarter. You really have to think 2 steps ahead, because just like this happened to her, this could have happened to anybody. And I'm so grateful that she got away. I'm so grateful for that security guard. But there are just certain things that you need to do when you plan on dating to not put yourself in that situation. Like I said, never get in this man's car. Never. Ever, ever, ever. I don't care if it's the nicest man. I don't care if he was, a blessing from God or so you think. Never get in a person's car. Always go somewhere public where people can see you. Have somebody on speed dial, just in case something pops off. There are certain things that we're not dealing with. There's a lot of people out here who are too fresh short of a whole Happy Meal. Okay.
Yeah. So if they're good people, they won't have a problem with you not getting in their car. They won't have a problem meeting you in a public place. They won't have a problem meeting you in a well-lit place. They won't have that problem. But when you start seeing those signs of, well, why don't you trust me and all this, then you might want to walk away.
Exactly. So, like I said, prayers go out to her for a speedy recovery. I know that was extremely scary for her, and I'm so glad that she was able to get away. I do hope that they get this creep. Hinge did say that they deactivated his account. He's no longer able to get on the app, but that doesn't stop him from getting on others. But I do hope that they do get him, and I hope somebody makes an example out of his ass.
Yes, because he was on Hinge, unhinged, and we can't have that.
Period.
Yes.
And speaking of unhinged, a lot of people are upset with Miss Erica Campbell. Precious, I know that you were listening to her show earlier, so but give us the rundown, girl.
Okay, so back in the days, the normal days, and when you used to drive to work in the morning, I would put on Erica Campbell. And this morning, I actually left the house. And if y'all don't know, she's on the gospel station. She has the early morning spot that Yolanda Adams actually used to have. And her show is pretty interesting and funny, and they have light banter. But sometimes she gets well into her ways and her views of how she sees the world and her opinions. And she can be very, very strict and one-track minded. And there's been quite a few times in which she's upset the general public, especially the dating public and the married folk. This morning that I heard her, she was talking specifically to the married folk and talking about how in a relationship, it's not always happy. You don't always like each other. One person's going to fall out of love, but it can't be both of you at the same time. And just going off of her experience more so than just generic information. So I'm not sure how that came across to some people, but the particular reason why people were upset is because she talked about the whole mentality and how you need to give up the whole mentality and your whole ways, because if you're like that woman, then you won't have a virtuous marriage. And a lot of people were not happy with that.
Well, look, I'm single, so I can't really speak on that. But one thing I will say is that there were a lot of girls that I knew growing up in high school and college who, were free with their lady parts. And, if that's what you choose to do in your household, baby, that is all you. But they got a ring. I'm still waiting for mine, honey.
I mean, if you're going to preach the Bible, every single main character, main person, main life in the Bible was flawed, with the exception of one person. Everybody had the flaws. Most of David and Bathsheba, did he not lust for her off the rooftop and have a whole other Abraham? Did he not go with Hagar and have a whole nother tribe called a whole nother nation? I'm just saying, okay, everybody is flawed. Everybody has some things, but that does not mean you can't have the blessings that have been set aside for you. There you go. And Monte is Correct. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's why I left the church when I was younger. Because you see I'm so serious. We were down in the basement, and you know, you go down in the basement and adults upstairs. And this was at New Hope, the Baptist Church in North. And the girl was just talking all types of crazy stuff. And I was like, whoa, okay. We go upstairs to Youth Explosion, because you know everybody got Youth Explosion.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It lasts from 7 to 12 midnight. And she is falling out, slain in the spirit. And I'm like, wasn't you just talking about all this stuff? How you just all of us? That's the kind of stuff that keep people out of church. That's the kind of stuff that keep people looking at them sideways, because you cannot preach this holier than thou and act like you are not a person like everybody else is.
That part. And then didn't her, I mean, and not to throw shade, but you know, sometimes I can get shady, but didn't her husband cheat on her?
He sure did.
Okay. Just wondering. And not to say that people who haven't had failed or, you know, mistakes in their marriages can't, you know, say anything. But at some point you might just want to be like, maybe we shouldn't just talk about this, or maybe we should get off this, you know, this topic, you know? Because I feel like this whole, you can't take a hoe and make her a housewife thing just needs to be thrown out the window. Because I feel like
Hey, y'all. Is it just me? Everybody see Kim? Kim, come on back. Okay, there you go.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm like, oh, hello.
Yes, that was the Lord. He's like, shut up.
Yeah, I was like, what you about to say? What you about to say? He muted you real quick. Said,
moving on. I'm gonna shut up because I was just about to get the hose, honey. So I got my sign. I'm gonna take it. And anyway, but on to some, you know, light news before we get into our interview. This I was so excited to see. Oh Lord, People has named Michael B. Jordan the sexiest man alive. Yes. Because if I would have saw Blake Shelton one more time on somebody's magazine,
I don't know how he looked like an owl. I don't know. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, congratulations to him. Well deserved. I mean, Michael B. Jordan is just so delicious in every way possible. Completely here for this man, you know.
What's that mustache though?
Girl,
the mustache. You like it? Okay.
No, I'm here for it. You know, give me porn stash. I'm here for it. Here for it. Here for it. Come on, Michael. But congratulations to him. What I loved about his entire article was that he was so humble throughout the entire thing, constantly thinking, you know, his upbringing, his mom, you know, his siblings. And he just said, you know, one of the things about success is just essentially not caring about what people think of you, you know, which is a golden rule. You know, don't care about what people think of you. Just live your life the best way that you possibly can, even if that means that you have to be a hoe. Hey, now.
That's how you frozen. Right.
But now it's time to get into our interview, guys. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Lazarius Ken Walker. This man has been featured on the Food Network. He has won a title for a national food truck winner. He's doing amazing things. He's dabbling into apps. He actually has one out, and even moving towards augmented reality, which a lot of people are using for Pokemon Go, and just a really well-rounded guy who is doing a lot for the community. So we sat down this past weekend, had an extremely well and fun interview. So let's go ahead and play a piece of that right now for you guys.
Lazarius Ken Walker is just no ordinary chef, but a man of extraordinary talents and an even bigger heart for his community in Columbia, South Carolina. Starting with just a mini hot dog cart, Walker has now become the owner of one of the most sought-after restaurants in South Carolina, The Twist. a family seafood restaurant that has exploded the last 3 years as customers wait in line for one of Walker's famous platters that is accompanied with his infectious smile. While we hear stories of restaurants not being able to survive the current pandemic, the Twist, on the other hand, has been doing extremely well. So well that Walker has made it his mission to not only...
What? Is that me?
Lazarius Ken Walker is just no ordinary chef, but a man of extraordinary talents and an even bigger heart for his community in Columbia, South Carolina. Starting with just a mini hot dog cart, Walker has now become the owner of one of the most sought-after restaurants in South Carolina, The Twist, a family seafood restaurant that has exploded the last 3 years as customers wait in line for one of Walker's famous platters that is accompanied with his infectious smile. While we hear stories of restaurants not being able to survive the current pandemic, The Twist, on the other hand, has been doing extremely well. So well that Walker has made it his mission to not only work with local farmers, but to give back to those that have supported him as well.
So I wanted to do a produce giveaway. So pretty much Christmas is coming up, but Thanksgiving is here. And I know a lot of COVID-19 has affected a lot of people in different situations, and not a lot of people can actually go out sometimes get the things that they necessarily want. So what I wanted to decide to do was team up with like Black farmers in the area and actually give away produce just for free. Just for you to come pick up, use it for Thanksgiving, less things you have to buy. I mean, more things to eat, but less things you have to buy. And just give it away just for free. Like, no, there's nothing I want to return. You don't have to get into a raffle. Just give back to the community because I feel like they literally support me. I'm only open 2 days out of the week, and they support me 2 days out of the week. So I feel like I can at least sacrifice and just give as much produce as I can. So the goal is we're trying to do like at least maybe over 50 families.
In helping he has done, not one to be pigeonholed, Walker has become a bit of what he calls himself a serialpreneur, who tackles various industries and avenues in an effort to reach the masses. From competing on the Food Network, to being the first African American to win the National Food Truck title, to being entered in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most expensive crab cake, Walker is now helping customers find their forever homes.
I would dabble in a little bit of everything just to try it out because, you know, that extends my knowledge in that certain area. So with real estate, it was kind of like I had a lot of customers that came in and it was like, hey, do you know a real estate agent? Do you know a real estate agent? Do you know a real estate agent? I was just like, nah, I don't. Then eventually I was just like, you know what? Let me take up this real estate thing. And I ended up taking it up. Did great. And then my first year, I hit like over $1 million in sales. And I was just getting people just from my restaurant. So I was like, okay, cool, I can actually do this. So it started taking off. I started getting like national recognition for things. Just a lot of things that happened from that. So I would say like the restaurant is my foundation, but it has built so much from that. You know, it was just pretty much a seed. And from the seed, I built, you know, this tree and I had an extension on this for this branch. And so it's a continuous flow where it seems like, okay, Ken is branching out into these certain things, but I'm just using one platform to reach so many others.
Speaking of being better, Walker applied that to his app, Tudes, a private video commenting app that is the first of its kind. But Walker wasn't satisfied just yet and saw an even bigger window for opportunity.
But I wanted to take it a step further. And I wanted to do something that most people dream about, but never really think it can happen. So I started coming out with like AR, which is augmented reality. It's a form of, matter of fact, have you ever seen, well, most people have seen it, but Marvel movies, Iron Man. So you know how he's pretty much, you know, asking, hey, Jarvis, can you do this for me? Hey, Jarvis. And he has like this computer in front of him. And it's not like a computer, but it's like pretty much in the air of space where you can type and do everything else. I figured out how to bring something that's inanimate to life through my app. So I can make a logo come to life, and then all of a sudden you can see your logo moving. Or if you wanted a commercial to play every time somebody saw your face, you just wave the app over your face and a commercial plays. It's bringing us into the 21st century because AR is something that most people don't pay attention to. Everyone uses it. So like I asked my best friend, he's a mechanical engineer. They use it to build structures, right? I have another friend, he does nursing. He said they use that before surgery. And then everyone's used it for like Pokemon Go, but no one has ever used it for like everyday life.
Exactly.
So what I did with this form was I made it so that way it was useful for you to use. So if you pulled out a business card and you say, hey, I'm Kim. This is Diva Den, and they look at your business card. If they wave the app over your business card, it will play a commercial or maybe one of your scenes from one of your many episodes, and then it'll also go to your Instagram link, Facebook link, or either your LinkedIn or just your web.
So super, super dope guy. I mean, if you guys happen to have a chance to go to the Columbia area, make sure that you support his restaurant, The Twist, which I'm going to take my fluffy tail down there, girl. I think we need to have in the Divas Den moment where we go down careful. But also, if you guys want to watch the rest of the interview, which I think you should, because he dropped a lot of gems, especially for those who are trying to get in the business industry or just trying to stay motivated and essentially trying to figure things out on their own. I did admire the fact that, he was just like, look, like someone may know more than me, but they're not going to outwork me, which is very commendable. So definitely make sure that you guys head over to our YouTube where you can watch the rest of the interview and exclusive with Lazarius Ken Walker. And, make sure you share, click, like, support the brother. Hey now. Hey now.
Yeah. Yes. Each one teach one. Let's support.
That part. But, all right, girl, that's our time, honey.
I had fun today.
I did too.
You know what the favorite part was?
What?
You were there. That's my favorite part. You said lady parts. I like that part.
I didn't want to just be out here just saying the word, take that off air stuff.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Gotta keep it cute. Thank you, Divas and friends. We appreciate you guys so much. And also make sure you're following our Instagram and our Facebook. We have a little bit of a contest that we're going to do. We're going to announce that tomorrow, especially for Thanksgiving. We're super excited because we just want to give back, especially since you guys have been so good to us. You guys are awesome and supporting us every step of the way. So make sure you're following us. Make sure you're paying attention to get in to possibly get a little gift. Hey now. Well, not a little gift, because damn it, I want it myself.
It's a nice gift. And then we got that other challenge too. Y'all look at that soon.
For those of you who don't know, this is round 2 of our holiday challenge. We did the cake challenge with Frankenstein and Precious using tortilla chips as eyes.
Oh, there you go. It was the filling from Oreos. Thank you.
We have a Christmas challenge that, we are going to get our redemption for, and hopefully my friends decide to vote for me this go round. The hell? But make sure you guys.
They're all our friends. They're Divas Den friends. They're all our friends. No? Okay.
Girl, I hope your computer freeze. Anyway. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys next week for a very special Thanksgiving episode. You guys are awesome. We love you so much. Bye.